Welcome to day 6 of 30 days of practical AI with Camo. All right, folks, today's gonna blow your mind a little bit. I'm gonna teach you exactly how to use AI to sound and write like you. Think of this as training your own digital writing clone, minus the sci-fi creepiness of this. So if you've ever wanted to, I don't know, for example, take the greatest speech in movie history from Independence Day and rewrite the entire thing in Hamlet's voice, well, you can absolutely do that. And look, there is a lot of people out there in the world charging large sums of money to figure this skill out, but I'm gonna show you exactly how easy this is in a rapid step-by-step. So hell yeah, it's a pretty big day. Let's get future-proof. Now, quick reminder, if you haven't watched the series intro video, I highly recommend you start with that. There's links down below. So as always, we're gonna start with thinking about the process, but a couple things we need to think about first. I need you to understand that what I'm about to show you is a massive oversimplification and reduction of a 1-hour workshop that I teach as part of the community. So we're gonna gloss over some things here. If you wanna know more, the community is the place to go to figure it out. Links are down below. Number 2 is we have to start talking about this cheat sheet. I want everyone to go ahead and pause the video right now and take a screenshot of this. Okay, there, you got it, all right? This is what you're going to follow, and you can take this, run with it, share it with your friends. I don't care. This is the cheat sheet on exactly what I'm about to walk you through. Now, we've talked about this prompt plus documents thing today, but we're gonna do things a slightly different method. You're gonna take your prompt, but we're gonna give it a lot of examples of you writing, you talking, and we're gonna get a response from an AI tool. We're gonna be using Claude today, because let me just tell you, it's substantially better at this task. We're gonna take that, save it to a document, and then manually update that document, and then download that document as a PDF. Yeah, I know this is getting a little long in the wind. And then you're gonna use that PDF to give to AI to write all of your prompts in the future, and it will sound exactly like you write and exactly like you sound. So you'll be able to use this to have AI write for you and have no one understand that AI is writing for you. They'll think it's you. All right, a lot of words. So what would a human need? This is always where we start. What would a human need in order to try and write like you? If you hired a personal assistant and said, I need you to write like me, or write a memo like me, or write a speech like me, what would it need? Well, starting, it'd probably need examples. It would need to listen to you talk. It would need to read your writing, and we are going to feed AI a lot of that today. It would also need to know, how do I analyze that? What are the idiosyncrasies of human speech and human writing so that I can start to mimic these very signature phrases or transitions or methodologies that each of us use? AI is actually really good at knowing that without you having to teach it a thing. And we need to know examples of how AI writes by default, i.e. we need to know what to avoid. And then instructions on how to give it to somebody else so that they can do that. In other words, how are you going to trigger AI to use this in the future? All right, that's a lot, but let's talk examples, okay? Even one small email example will work to dramatically increase the chances that AI sounds like you and to get it to stop sounding like the robot that it is. Most of us have probably seen this stuff on LinkedIn or social media or whatever. You can tell when AI writes something. It's a feeling. It's like the uncanny valley of you reading text. You know when it starts to get into like, I think AI wrote this kind of category. Now our goal is to get 10,000 words of your writing, which sounds like a lot, but it's about 1 hour of you talking. So if you've got a lot of transcripts of meetings from your job, or you literally just want to hit the record button on your phone and talk for an hour about something, and it doesn't matter what it is. You could be talking about a movie that you saw. You could be talking about a TV show that you watched. You could be talking about a book you read. It will work as long as it's your natural talking voice. So if we get all of that together, then we have to think about style. And whoa, this is the complete set of instructions that I'm giving you in the prompt today. Again, the prompt is free. It's down below. The link is there. Take it, run with it, be awesome with it. But this is the entire list of ways that we are going to analyze your speech and your writing. Now, did I write this from scratch from my memory? Absolutely not. Did I absolutely get AI to help me with this? Yes. And for the record, I am on version 7 of this process. I obsess over making sure that AI sounds like me when I want to use it. So trust me on this, this is pretty darn good. Okay, once we get through the documentation process, you then need to do manual updates to the response that AI gives you. And here's why. We need it to not sound like AI. And in some weird way, shape, or form, AI doesn't want to not sound like itself. That starts to get a little strange, but I've tried this over and over again of prompting AI to say, stop sounding like yourself. It doesn't work. So you have to manually do this process. And you'll need to come back and update this pretty regularly. For example, there are some dead giveaways with words that are used. For example, if I see the word delve and I'm not reading an academic paper, 99.9% chance that AI wrote that. I don't know anybody that uses delve, but it's a very academic word from the early days of ChatGPT, and it's been pervasive. There is a ton of websites out there that you can go to that will tell you like the top words that are used by ChatGPT and other tools. I use GPT because they give you phrases as well, which is number 2 on this list. There are key phrases that AI wants to use regularly, and that website GPT has a whole list of the ones it detects most often in trying to fight copyright infringement and plagiarism and all this kind of stuff. So it's a really cool way. These are the ones that are going to be in the examples that I give you today. And the last one is punctuation giveaways. It's 2025, y'all. The M dash has been killed by AI tools. And I hate this. I have used dashes and M dashes a lot in my professional writing in the last 15 years. And now I'm like, man, they robbed it from me. They ruined it for everybody. So yeah, when you see an M dash now, I'm always like, AI, because it's not a thing a lot of people use. So we're gonna go through and manually tell it, don't do that. A couple notes on the punctuation side of the house. Sometimes this doesn't work. You can prompt ChatGPT to say don't use dashes or M dashes. It'll still use dashes or M dashes. So you might have to come through and still supervise, human in the loop, on all these processes. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's get to the prompting framework. Again, RGCOA, role, goal, context, output, ask it for help. Today, the role is simple. Be a prompt engineer with a background in communication analysis, because the goal of today is to build the prompt guidance to give to future AI tools. So that's the primary, and then communication analysis is the secondary. The goal is to analyze examples of the speech we're going to give it and give you prompt instructions. The context is all of the ways you want to analyze it, i.e. that super detailed slide I just showed you with all the steps, and explanations of what you've written. We'll get into that more too. Now, output is simply instructions that you can give to an AI tool to use in writing future things, and you're going to give it as a PDF. And then finally, ask me for anything that you think could help. This ask me for help may show up today in our example. It might show up for you when you run through this yourself, and I highly, highly, highly encourage everyone watching this, please do this thing today, okay? This will be one of the most significant pieces of life upgrade in using AI that you ever get. So, I think this is it. Let's dive into it, shall we? Now, we're going to look at the prompt for just a quick second here. At the very beginning, we're going to use a different prompting method today. We're going to use a bit of chain of thought, which just means we're going to ask a couple questions, get AI to validate it before we move on to the next step. We're not just going to list a giant wall of text and say, go. So the first thing we're going to do is say, give it the role and say, I'm going to give you a PDF. Are you cool with this? And as long as it understands, yes. If not, it'll ask you a couple questions. That's fine. Then the second prompt we're going to give it is to say, okay, great. I want you to analyze all that information. Again, this is a copy and paste from what I just showed you on the screen. And very quick thing here, if you're going to use multiple voices, if you're going to grab like emails and social media posts and work documents that you've created, you can give it a specific bit of tone. You can describe these different things that you're going to be sending in and saying, here's examples of my writing. If you're just going to do a stream of consciousness voice to text for an hour, you don't need this. So that's why it says optional. Pull it out if you don't need it. And then again, all the basics. Do you still understand it? Here's the generic format. Okay, if yes, let me know. Cool. Then you're going to give it the uploaded document. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that here in a second. And that's it. That's what we are going to do today. All right, so lots of stuff to get to. I am going to open, like I said, a Claude window today because I have found that Claude is much better at doing this, okay? So what we're going to do is go back into here, and our scenario is I am going to rewrite and train Hamlet's voice. For those of you that don't know, Hamlet is a very famous play. The character that speaks the most in Hamlet is Hamlet. So we're going to just use that. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste in this. I want you to assume the role, and I'm going to give you a client speaking in a play, and I want you to generate that guidance. If you understand, just say yes. I'm sending this over. Claude's going to think for a second. It's going to come back and say, yep, I totally understand. Super great. Let's go back and get the second prompt. So I'm going to say, now I am going to ask you to specifically analyze all this stuff so that I can give guidance to a future AI prompt, i.e. when you'll use this in the future, that specifically says, use this. I'm just going to come in here and paste this again. Say, go. Do you understand? Cool. Comes back. I understand. I'm going to analyze all these things. Let me know. Upload the PDF of the dialogue samples and I will analyze it. Awesome. So all I'm going to do is We're going to go in here, we're going to upload a file, and what we're going to upload is the entire play of Hamlet. Simple, right? And it's going to analyze that. Now, I'm going to come back and get ready for this quick prompt. Say, I have uploaded this document named Hamlet. It's a dialogue with multiple speakers. Now, I want to focus in on this yellow text for a quick second here. You're only to focus on the speaker named Hamlet. Because this is a play, there's lots of other dialogue happening. And this sort of mimics a call transcript that you might have, right? You've got you talking, the customer talking, or someone else talking. And so you're specifically saying, just focus on Hamlet, which sometimes shows up as ham in the play. And when you do that, I'm going to remind it twice. Just focus on that. Do not focus on the other speakers. And I'm also going to ask and confirm that it can read the entire 144-page PDF. These are safety mechanisms to make sure that it doesn't just stop after reading a few lines, which it can do. So, okay, I'm grabbing all of this. I've uploaded Hamlet's entire play. I'm going to say go, and we're going to see how this works. So it's going to take a little bit because, like I said, it's a 144-page PDF. It's doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's going to think. It's confirming, yes, I can read the entire PDF and I can figure out what Hamlet is. It's now going to begin its analysis of the tone so that it can keep going. Say, great, please do. And now it's going to go ahead and start. And here we go. It's produced the guidance for me. So as it's doing this, and there's a lot that it's going to do. It's going to talk about the words that Hamlet uses more often, the words that Hamlet does not use, the signature phrases and expressions, the metaphors and analogies that Hamlet likes to use, the translation of phrases and verbal patterns, the sentence structure and complexity. All these things come out of it. Contextual variation. Again, I spent a lot of time building this prompt, everybody. This is very thorough and super useful in so many ways. And finally, explanation, argument structure, personal anecdotes and experiences, audience engagement, technical versus non-technical content, again, in Hamlet's voice, everyone, and additional distinctive elements, okay? So that's it. We can grab this now, and I could just copy this entire, you just click copy down here, or just click and drag and copy the whole thing, put it into a Google Doc. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this. I'm gonna grab all of this. I don't need that last paragraph just because it's kind of, getting a little strange. I'm literally just gonna go to docs.new, docs.new. And how we're going to do now is just say this is Hamlet 3.0 tone. I don't know, pick a number and paste. Okay, so now that we have the document, we're literally going to go to the bottom and we are going to add in all of the word giveaways. We are basically going to say, do not use AI word giveaways. And we're going to bulletize all of these points here, okay? So it's very simple. And you can get advanced with this if you want, but basically just don't do this, right? Then again, do not use AI phrase giveaways and bulleted. And then we're going to say, do not use AI punctuation giveaways. M dashes of text, bullet, all of this is just to say, don't sound like AI. Now that we have this, we are very specifically going to come in here and say, this is Hamlet 3. I'm going to download this as a PDF. And now I have Hamlet's voice. I have all of Hamlet's voice captured. So if we go back to our ChatGPT interface and we say, again, I'm going to just come in and grab, this is the entire speech from Independence Day, and I'm going to copy that into a brand new temporary chat window and say, okay, I'm back in ChatGPT now. Again, I generated this in Claude, but I'm coming back to ChatGPT for use just because that's been the same one we've been using the whole time. Can you understand it? Yes, it knows that this is the speech from Bill Pullman, President Whitmore. Again, really awesome speech. And I say, great, I'm just going to upload a photo, or a file. And what we're going to do is Hamlet 3.0. So I'm just going to ask it to upload a file. And what we're going to do is Hamlet 3.0. Hamlet 3.0, very simple, and say, awesome. Please rewrite this in Hamlet's voice. See the uploaded document for instructions. And we're going to spell rewrite right. Yay, clicks. Grammarly. Single best AI tool ever. All right, now it's going to read the document, and here is the entire speech. And look, if you've never seen the movie Independence Day, I'm really sorry. You're missing out on one of the great joys in life. But this is wonderful, and it sounds like Hamlet. It can sound like you. It can sound like anybody you want. And that brings us to a lot of the more advanced level up conversations we need to have today, okay? How do you take this to the next level? One, you can generate a lot of different voices. Maybe you have a voice for your personal social media content. Maybe you have a voice for work. Maybe you have a voice for your customers. Train it on all those different voices. Or maybe you need to emulate the voice of someone else. Do that. You can also try a lot of different large language models and AI tools to perform this. These new tools come out all the time. As of right now, I'm recording this in May of 2025. Claude 3.7 is the best at this. I can say that with authority, as I've tried out Gemini 2.0, Gemini 2.5, ChatGPT 4.5, ChatGPT 4.0, 0.3, Claude 3.5 and 3.7, latest versions. Claude 3.7 blows the other ones out of the water. It's just much more comprehensive. The guidance just feels better. And I wish I could more scientifically measure that for you, but just trust me, it feels a whole lot better when you use Claude right now. Next, deeply customize your document. As you use this thing, what's going to happen is, and as you see more results in your voice, you're going to go, oh, this is really perchance is not a word that I use very often, so maybe avoid that. Cool, go back into the document, tell it not to use perchance, save it as a new version of your PDF and start using that. This is a living, breathing guide that I want you to keep updated and keep it as your tone evolves, because you're human, you're going to evolve through this process too. And finally, make a custom GPT for this. I highly encourage that. If you want to dive deeper into this voice capture tech, because it gets real gnarly and really fun, check out our community. Links are down below on how you can join. I give deep dive classes on this at least once a quarter with the latest information. It's a great way to kind of stay current and to keep yourself future-proof through this process. Now, that was a ton. If you have questions about today's video, and I hope you sure do, put them in the comments. I want to hear what's going on. And now that AI can capture your voice, imagine what else it can do. Seriously, go back and retry days 1 through 5 of this entire video series now that you have your voice guidance. It's gonna blow your mind, all right? Serious improvement. So tomorrow, we're tackling another super common pain point, summarizing call transcripts. Got an hour-long meeting? Let's summarize it in 10 seconds. And look, a lot of tools out there that do this. We're gonna show you how they work under the hood. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.